Hi everyone, BritSimon here. Pretty quick update for you on DV2024. I spoke about DV2024 progress at some length on Saturday morning my time. I published some data as part of my live Q&A on Saturday. At that time, I was telling you that we were getting pretty close to the end of the visas that would be available for DV 2024. But I don't expect or didn't expect the visas to run out this coming week, meaning this week. We're currently Monday of this week. So today, though, Curtis Morrison has posted something which I'll show you here. It says, I'm in a recess in a DV lawsuit hearing. Counsel for State Department just revealed 51,284 of the 54,850 allotted FY 2024 diversity visas have been issued already, and the program is expected to end on September 23rd. Now, let's break those two parts of the statement out separately. As of Friday night, 50,252 visas were issued, according to the SEAC data, which excludes adjustment of status. Okay, when we take that number as of today, where we've just got the extract from today, that number has increased to 50,774. You can see the data here. This is basically an extract from the SEAC data that Zarthisius is kindly taking for us to be able to track the numbers day by day. So he's telling us that the number here, 50,158, plus the 616 is a total of 50,774. So that represents an increase of 520 visas since Friday that have been issued. Okay. At the same time, today, we also received this word, which is about the adjustment of status cases. 902 DV visa applicants have been issued through adjustment of status in the USA. That tracks roughly with what I'm expecting. I'm expecting them to finish up with about 1,000 adjustment of status, could be a little bit more, a little bit less, but about 1,000 adjustment of status visas by the end of the month, right? So we've got 902 as of September 12th, and a little bit more, which would have been the Friday. And so basically, where does this number 51,284 come from? I think what it is the 50,252 that we knew about on Friday, plus adjustment of status cases they've added in, and they've reported those numbers today. In other words, the number that we're seeing here, 51,284, is about 522 under what the reality is as of this evening, okay? Because Curtis's post was, some hours ago, okay? So we are getting pretty close to the end. Now, I also explained on Saturday that there aren't many people left to be seen with September interviews, and I said that it would take some of the visas to be issued to some of the AP 221G cases, but we can see that number has gone down fairly significant since Friday, 4,033. So that's gone down by a couple of hundred. So some of the cases that are coming through at the moment, some are coming from interviews, and the issuances are coming from interviews. Some are coming from 221G. Roughly speaking, it looks like out of today's 520, it looks like about 200 or so came from 221G, and 300 or so came from appointments, right? So we should expect that trend to continue this week, and we could see another couple of thousand added to this number, which would take us to about 53,700 or so. And then the AOS would go on top of that. That's going to be pretty close to this number, 54,850, which is officially the number that should be That should be the end, technically speaking. Now, that's the explanation about the numbers. I think if you're going for an interview this week, before the end of this week, today is Monday the 16th. If you're going for an interview before the end of this week, there should be a visa for you. And 221G cases being issued this week, there should be a visa for you. But let's talk about this date. The program is expected to end on September 23rd. It's kind of a prediction from the government. When they make that sort of prediction, you in one sense, my normal reaction would be to take that with a pinch of salt, because how could they possibly know how many visas would be issued over the next few days, right? However, I can tell you that when they made this prediction last year, they predicted it with much shorter notice, only a day's notice, essentially. On September the 5th, they started to predict that the program would end on September 6th, and it did on September the 6th. It ended the very next day. And so I kind of believe this date. Now, does that mean that the program is going to end at the end of September 23rd, at the end of that day, or the beginning of that day? I don't know. It's a little bit weird that they haven't said the end of this week, for example. They could have said, we'll give it to the weekend. And if they're going to predict a date, they'll give it to the weekend. But I think their prediction hopefully should allow people that are attending interviews on the 23rd to get their visas issued. And I think what will happen is, similar to last year, they will then shut down the program so that anyone who is scheduled on the 24th, 25th, 26th, and so on will be turned away from the embassy gates. Having said that, there can't be many people scheduled for those later dates. There will be some, I'm sure, but there can't be many. And so, it may be that they're including the 23rd. Of course, they could decide over the weekend and send a cable to all of the embassies over the weekend saying, don't issue any more cases on the 23rd. That would also be possible. A little bit scarier, because I know of some cases that are scheduled for the 23rd. And so that would be a bit scarier. Either way, the program is coming to an end, and it looks like it could end early. It looks almost certain that it will end early, which is a little bit surprising to me. But considering they issued 3,000 visas last week alone, the pace of issuance is certainly what it needs to be to exhaust the visas. And they are including some of the 221G clearances already. And so they have not held back the 221G clearances. They are already clearing those cases. Well, if they're clearing those cases and interviewing people, and they're letting whichever one wins, then what they could have done, they could have said, okay, we'll finish all of the interviews, and then whatever is left we'll give to the 221Gs. They're not doing that. They're issuing the 221Gs as they're clearing, and that in itself could mean that we could see quite a rapid exhaustion of the visas, as we're already seeing. So this is an important update, I think, for people to understand. It is imperative, if you've got your interview planned for this week, that you go properly prepared. Please don't go there with missing documents and that sort of thing, because you will basically be ruining your own chance right there. There isn't going to be time to recover from a silly mistake. So, for the people that ask me, should I go with an I-134? I don't see it listed as a requirement. If you don't take an I-134 or financials, you're an idiot, quite frankly, because why leave it to chance? Why leave it to, just chance whether the CO asks for that sort of thing or not? And if you leave that to chance this week of all weeks, then you are officially an idiot. That's the only way I can think to put it, frankly, because you've been warned. And I'm telling you, the visas are running out. And I'm also telling you that an improperly prepared case will just lose their chance this week, and that will happen. I guarantee that will happen to some people this week. I know it will. They'll be put on 221G for avoidable reasons, and the year will end without them getting their visas, which is horrendous, but it will happen. So please don't do that. Make sure you've got proper copies of all your documents. Make sure you've prepared. Make sure you've read the instructions. Make sure you've got the police certificates. Make sure you've got all the documents that are listed as required documents, and documents that you feel may be important to your case, including, as I mentioned, financials. That's also very important. Financial paperwork to show that you're not going to become a public charge, which is either your own savings or an I-134. Okay. That's about all I've got. Just fingers crossed. I hope you will be amongst those that are issued before the program ends this year. Fingers crossed. This is going to be another tough year where I've already got people asking when are they going to send more DV2024 to NLs. Of course, they're not going to do that because they're already running out of visas. Why would they send any more to NLs? That's been clear for some time, but some people still haven't understood that point. And so, what is happening is clear. It's expected. You've been warned. You've been informed. And we'll have to wait and see what happens over the coming days. But fingers crossed. Like I said, I don't think we're going to run out this week. I think it will. I think the program looks like it will be stopped next week, possibly on the 23rd, possibly at the beginning of the 23rd or at the end of the 23rd. I don't know. This isn't an official announcement. It's just I think it's somewhat reliable. Okay, so that's your update for today. Good luck to everybody. Please do stay in touch with things this week. If I hear any other news this week, then of course I will let you know. All right. Okay, bye-bye now.